Tonight at 11, another round of protests in South Florida over the police killings of unarmed men around the country. A crowd of demonstrators took over the streets of downtown Fort Lauderdale earlier tonight. And for the first time here in South Florida, some of the protesters were arrested. CBS 4's Marianne Martinez is live in Fort Lauderdale with more on what has happened this time around. Not the first time we've seen the protest, but the first time people have been arrested. Marianne?
That's right, Cynthia. Well, tonight's protest started and ended here at Stranahan Park in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And like you said, we saw 2 arrests tonight. Also, what was different is we saw some confrontation with police. A protester is led away by police. His was one of 2 arrests in Fort Lauderdale as demonstrators took to the streets for a second week in protest of police involvement in the deaths of black men across the country, and no charges filed against those officers.
Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets!
The protesters marched through downtown Fort Lauderdale as the Winterfest boat parade was happening just a few blocks away.
Right now we understand that there's a boat show with millions of dollars and people who don't listen to our stories.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
Protesters came within inches of drivers, wandering through stopped traffic and taking pictures of drivers. The attorney for the Dream Defenders, one of the groups that participated in the march, says things got heated between drivers and demonstrators.
Cars were coming into the intersection and it was like a standoff.
Attorney Veranda Williams says that's what the 2 arrests were over. As the protesters moved from downtown Fort Lauderdale to the Las Olas Entertainment District, police threatened to arrest even more demonstrators for blocking traffic.
Been given ample opportunity to protest, been given ample opportunity to march. At this point, you can return to the sidewalks. If you continue to block the roadways, you will be arrested.
The protesters didn't get the permits they would have needed to shut down the streets, although police informed them they could keep peacefully protesting on the sidewalk.
He's going to give you dispersal order, so as long as you stay out of the road, we're fine.
The demonstrators decided to call it a night rather than risk any more arrests.
Now that there's been 2 arrests, people are going to say, oh, they're out there acting unruly. That wasn't really the case, and we don't want that message to be out there.
And the attorney for the Dream Defenders tells us that those 2 arrestees are facing misdemeanor disorderly conduct charges. She also tells us that her group has a list of demands that they would like to discuss with Fort Lauderdale officials, including the use of police body cameras here in Fort Lauderdale. As of now, no such meeting between officials and protesters has been scheduled. Live in Fort Lauderdale, Marianne Martinez, CBS 4 News Tonight.
We'll see you.